So the topic that I was using for today um, is that awful term called good service, and why, in my opinion, it's really one of the most dangerous phrases in business because good doesn't create loyalty. It creates indifference or beigeness or vanilla. There's no emotional connection to it. So if your best selling point is we provide great service, well, you've already lost. And when I say good service, great service, that's just a what's the word I'm looking for? Platitude. And platitudes don't sell. Because if you just go drive down the highway, you'll see a whole bunch of plumbing and carpet cleaning and electrician vans that say things like, we pride ourselves on great service, or customer satisfaction is our top priority, or we go above and beyond. Well, whoopee, anybody can say that. And it's not a differentiator. That's if you if you're like my kids when they went to sports, it's like a participation trophy. Or worse, it's dangerous because it makes you think that you are doing enough. And that's really not the case. So picture this. You need a service. Doesn't matter what. You go to Google, you click three websites, and what do you see? You're going to get some version of family owned and operated, serving the community since 1492, or we care about our customers. Anybody, I mean, you look at a plumbing ad, an electrician ad, and a carpet cleaning ad, three very different things, and they all got family owned and operated. Who cares? It doesn't say anything. So what do you do? What do you do when you see those kinds of platitudes? What do you compare on? You're immediately comparing on price. Exactly, Sean. Price, availability, and convenience. Because good service did not help you choose. It made everybody look identical. And that's where the danger is. So, a big idea for you would be that good service prevents complaints, doesn't create loyalty, doesn't create referrals, and certainly doesn't justify any kind of premium pricing. Good service is expected. It's the entry into the marketplace. We expect you to deliver good service. However, memorable experiences are chosen. So why does good service fail? Well, one, it's invisible. Customers don't notice what they expect. Nobody walks out saying, wow, they did what they were supposed to do. I mean, it's just not memorable, right? You go to get the oil changed and they change the oil and you walk out and that's it. They did what they said they were going to do. Fine. If you went to my client up in Ohio, who runs an oil change, we made it look like a 1950s style service station. And the guys run out in bow ties and white shirts, and one guy squeegees your windshield, the other one checks the air pressure in the tire, and they actually have a barista in the waiting room of the coffee, or excuse me, of the oil change place. That's something that you don't expect that when you get your oil change. It's certainly memorable. Also, if you're using those platitudes, it's forgettable. Even if everything goes well, there's no story. And if there's no story, there's nothing to share. And Gerard gets this because that's what he does, is write stories. Actually, Sean, you're really good at it too with your Wednesday, is it Wednesdays? Your weekly emails. You're not going to get referrals from them, and you're not going to get word of mouth unless you can craft a story. Those platitudes, we already talked a little bit about price, but they create price sensitivity. When all options are the same, price becomes the deciding factor. We don't want to be in that. That's being a commodity. And we all know that the marketplace dictates the price of a commodity. Nothing else. Price of sugar, wheat, iron ore, all commodity items, all price dictated by the marketplace. So now, if price becomes that deciding factor, you're now competing with cheaper competitors, faster competitors, louder competitors, and wondering why everything feels so much harder than it really should. So the enemy isn't bad service. The enemy is indifference. And indifference is what happens when customers say, yeah, they were fine. Fine's the kiss of death. Now, what actually works instead is you don't need better service, but you do need designed moments, moments that create emotion, those emotional connections we talk about. Emotions create memory. I mean, think about it. I've said it before. When grandma's dying, where does the family take grandma? To Disney. They plop her butt in a wheelchair, they wheel her around, they take pictures with grandma so that they have a memory of grandma. And then, of course, memory creates loyalty. Think about how many people go to Disney and how rabidly loyal they are. We've talked before. I mean, people mutilate their bodies for Disney, putting those chips in their arms and stuff like that. It's nuts. But that is the kind of raving fan that we want. So what can we do? One, create points where there is a pause. So I had a great call with an Alliance member today, Leonard Raskin. He's a financial advisor, and he's actually trying to delay his first meeting with the person. Well, one, he's busy, but two, because he doesn't have enough time to do a complete assessment of the person's financial world. And so we're trying to put pause points in his buying cycle. And we want them to have moments where the customer stops and notices something. So we're creating an entire sequence. He wants to expand his sales cycle to 60 days. Right now, it's anywhere between 15 and 30, and it's killing him and his team. But if he expands it to 60, he doesn't think he's going to lose anybody. But we will need to have those pause points where people are going to stop and notice something. An unexpected welcome. So we're talking, something simple as a handwritten thank you card after a meeting. Thoughtful details, personal touches. I don't know how many of you guys use uh, Gift Hopper. Sean, I know you're a Gift Hopper user. They're great because you can just program them and little gifts go out. And it's a personal touch. So, and I'm not saying Gift Hopper is the end all be all, but they are pretty damn good when it comes to gifts and personalizing them. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be intentional. Second thing you want to do is add personality. And all of you got it. I mean, and whether it's boisterous or not, we all have it. Former Navy flight surgeon. Geez, that's a personality. Caffeine dealer. That's a personality. But you also want to sound human. You don't want to sound like a legal document. So, like instead of like our guys, our CSR in our call center, most people you'll say, your technician will be there between 12 and 4. Or if it's Verizon, between 8 and midnight. And they'll come on Monday. They just don't tell you which Monday they're coming. Um, for us, we take it a little step further and saying we'll be there between 12 and 4, and we'll give you a heads up so you're not staring out the window like a hostage. So we'll let them know exactly what time once the guy is out on the road. Then do something that's unexpected. Not everything, just one. Like I said, handwritten note, small gift, follow-up call, remembering something personal. That's what people talk about. And I'll go back to my conversation with Leonard today, is having a mechanism or something in your sequence where you are gaining personal information. Sean, I think you're doing this, right? Is the form or something online thing to get, favorite drink, or are you a cat person or a dog person, or something like that. And then you'll be able to remember them with something personal. And that's what people talk about. I mean, it's like, the opposite would be, sending, a really nice bottle of bourbon to an alcoholic. Just not a good thing to do. Or, sending chocolate to a diabetic. Again, just not something you want to do. But if you know the person, you can then personalize your gifts. And then lastly, you want to make the invisible visible. Highlight what you're already doing well. Explain it, frame it. For example, most companies skip this step. We don't, and here's why. Now, our good service becomes perceived value. Most carpet cleaners don't vacuum before they start cleaning. Well, we do, and here's why. Because if you add water to dirt, you get mud, and you just get a dirtier carpet. So, um, so now my good service becomes a perceived value. So, what is one moment in your customer journey that can be turned into something memorable instead of just fine? Think about that little workshopy thing. What's one moment in your customer journey that can be turned into something memorable instead of just okay or fine? Um, and then think about when you're trying to come up with this one moment is where are you currently just blending in with everybody else? Where could you add a small intentional moment? And what would a customer actually talk about afterwards? I say it all the time. We want to be tellable. We want people to be able to talk about us. Um, so if your customer described you to a friend, what would they say? If the answer is they were good, you got work to do, Bubba. But if the answer was, oh my God, they vacuumed the carpet before they started cleaning and they told us why and yada yada yada. So customers don't stay loyal to businesses that are merely good. They stay loyal to businesses they remember. So good service will get you into the game, but memorable experiences delivered time and again is how you win the game. So if you want to command higher prices, get more referrals, make sales even easier, you don't need to be better. You just need to be different in a way that people can feel. So questions on that. How are we going to implement, again, taking our personalities, becoming tellable?
I can create forums and surveys and get stuff, but one thing I'd like to get is a mailing address because I do have a gift box for people that get in the inside reading Guild Guide to the Secret Canonical Library that I have. But people are really they're really reticent with their phone numbers and they're really reticent with their uh addresses. I just make an outright bribe. If you want a gift box, and fill out this form with your address, I'll send you a gift box introducing it to the world's fiction I created for you. I mean,
You can.
anybody have any advice on that without
You
being just
certainly
too
can.
mercenary? I mean, I trying to find the right balance on this.
Yeah, I mean, you
Stopping this.
certainly can do that. I mean, like if you go to my site and order my book, Systematic Magic, you get it free and it's a PDF download. And for that, I get phone number and email. The next screen takes them to, well, if you really want a book, a physical one you can hold into your hands, you can still have it free, but I need your address. And so they'll fill in the address and I can ship them the book. Key on that is they do pay shipping and handling. So my marketing costs are covered. So it's $8.95 shipping and handling. Also, you get their credit card by doing that. So now they're a buyer, and a buyer is a buyer is a buyer. So once they're
Oh,
ready to give you money,
that's,
uh,
that's a great idea. I'll copy it because I have author copies of printed books of my Legion magnet, so I can even autograph it and send it to them.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um, Now,
great.
one idea
Got
that I
it. Thanks.
got, one other idea I got is if you are doing any type of thank you, So especially if you do handwritten thank you cards like I do, and you don't have their mailing address, but you do have an email, is take a picture of the thank you card that you just wrote out and email them the picture saying, hey, I really wanted to send you a thank you card, but I don't have your address. If you want this one, just send me your address and I'll mail it to you. So there's some cutesy ways. You don't really have to bribe. There are just really under the radar things. And I don't know why people are worried about mail. I mean, it's easier to throw out mail than it is to go through your inbox and just delete stuff. I don't know. Um, Maybe it's a privacy thing. I could be wrong. I don't know. But all right, gang. Y'all have a wonderful Tuesday.
Thank you.
Hopefully
You
it
too.
will cross the 40-degree mark later today, and we'll go from there.
Nice.
We'll talk to everybody soon. Thanks so much.
Thanks.